Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. The updated and expanded second edition of my book, The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments, is now available. Readers can expect to march with Arnie's Army at the 1960 U.S. Open, relive Jack Nicklaus's remarkable 1986 Masters win, and be amazed by the Tiger Slam. The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments. Pick it up where fine books are sold, including BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Yesterday's Sports on the Sports History Network. Today we will have part 2 of the 1971 Kansas City Chiefs season. Well, we left off last week. The Chiefs had just tied the Oakland Raiders 20-20, and now we go to Week 8, where the Chiefs played the 2-5 New York Jets. And the Chiefs suffered a letdown in this game. Without the injured Joe Namath, the Jets threw the ball only 9 times for 19 yards. But the Chiefs' offense was equally unproductive, gaining only 190 yards on the day and committing 3 turnovers. The final score was New York 13, Kansas City 10. The following week, the Chiefs played the playoff-bound Cleveland Browns. The Chiefs' defense allowed 247 passing yards, but held the Browns' running attack to only 45 yards. Offensively, Len Dawson had a good game, completing 15 of 24 passes for 234 yards with 1 touchdown. The final score was Kansas City 13, Cleveland 7. Next up for the Chiefs were the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs' defense had a tough time stopping Broncos receiver Jerry Simmons, who caught 6 passes for 153 yards. But they harassed quarterback Steve Ramsey into throwing 3 interceptions and sacked him 3 times. Len Dawson had another good game, completing 11 passes for 294 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tight end Morris Shroud caught 3 passes for 93 yards and scored 1 touchdown. Elmo Wright caught a 69-yard touchdown pass. And Kansas City won easily, 28-10. The win against the Broncos upped their record to 7 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. But they needed to keep winning to keep pace with the 7-1-2 Raiders for the division title. On Thanksgiving Day, they would face the 6-3-1 Detroit Lions at Tiger Stadium. The Chiefs' offense never got on track in this game, and by the third quarter, they were behind 29-7. They scored 2 more touchdowns, but lost 32-21. Thankfully for the Chiefs, the Raiders also lost. Things didn't get any easier for the Chiefs in Week 12 as they faced the 7-4 San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football at newly built Candlestick Park. With the game tied 3-3 in the second quarter, Otis Taylor scored on a 46-yard reception and kicker Jan Stenerud kicked a 54-yard field goal to give KC a 13-3 lead. In the third quarter, Taylor ran a reverse 25 yards for a touchdown and a 23-10 lead. The Chiefs held on to win 26-17. Dawson passed for 263 yards with 1 touchdown, while Ed Podolak ran for 75 yards on 17 carries. Chiefs defense held All-Pro receiver Gene Washington with 3 receptions for 73 yards. In the next to last game of the season, the 8-3-1 Chiefs would play the 7-3-2 Raiders, who had lost their last 2 games. A win in this game would clinch the division title for the Chiefs. The Dawson to Taylor combo struck early with a 29-yard touchdown strike in the first quarter. Taylor had another great game, catching 8 passes for 113 yards with 1 touchdown. Wendell Hayes ran for 77 yards on 19 carries. Defensively, the Chiefs held the Raiders to 207 yards. The final score was Kansas City 16, Oakland 14. With the division title clinched, Coach Hank Stram gave Len Dawson the week off. In the final game of the regular season, backup quarterback Mike Livingston got the start against the Buffalo Bills. The game was a field goal fest, except for a 26-yard interception return for a touchdown by linebacker Bobby Bell. The Chiefs' defense forced 3 turnovers and sacked quarterback Dennis Shaw 4 times, en route to a 22-9 victory. Len Dawson, Otis Taylor, tackle Jim Tyrer, guard Ed Buddy, defensive tackles Curly Cope and Buck Buchanan, linebackers Bobby Bell and Willie Lanier, cornerback Emmett Thomas, and kicker Jan Stenerud made the Pro Bowl. Otis Taylor and Willie Lanier also made All-Pro. On Christmas Day, the Chiefs would play the Miami Dolphins in the AFC Divisional Playoff. The game went into the 6th quarter before a 37-yard Garo Premium field goal gave Miami a 27-24 victory. The Chiefs' defense stopped the Dolphins' potent running attack, holding them to 144 yards on 43 carries. But they had a tough time stopping receiver Paul Warfield, as most defenses did. Warfield caught 7 passes for 140 yards. Chiefs receiver Elmo Wright caught 3 passes for 104 yards, and Wendell Hayes gained 100 yards rushing on 22 carries. Ed Poglak had the best game of his career, gaining 85 yards rushing, 110 yards receiving, and 154 yards on kickoff returns. And he scored 1 touchdown. It was a heartbreaking loss for the Chiefs, but it was a season they could be proud of. For more on this epic game, go to my podcast page and click on episode 161, the longest ever NFL game. The Chiefs never recovered from the loss. The following season, they went 8-6 and failed to make the playoffs, and in 1973 they finished 7-5-2, again failing to reach the playoffs. From 1974 to 1988, they had only 2 winning seasons. From 1986 to 2018, the Chiefs appeared in 21 postseason games and lost 16 times. But long-suffering Chiefs fans have had much to celebrate in the last 5 years, as the team has won 4 AFC Championships and 3 Super Bowls. All right, that will conclude our podcast for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and God bless.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network. your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.